Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Upsurge Winter Split 2021. We got some good matches for you tonight, but before we do that, let's do some introductions. My name is Jenna, aka Giraffe, as seen below my little webcam, and right next to me is going to be Cherish. Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. We're definitely having a good day coming into this. We've got, like you said, two good matches, and I'm pretty excited for it. So today in general for Siege is a very interesting day,
It is.
just because other leagues are also having their qualifiers tonight. So all in all, it's just a packed day for Siege, really.
Yeah, I mean, we got 9 Ball, SFCL, SCS. They're all holding the SCS quals, the open quals today, I believe, and then they'll be moving on to closed, I think, within the next week or so. Yeah, so you're definitely right. There's packed, absolutely packed full. I think there was about 69 teams, haha, 69, but 69 teams that signed up out of 70 who could possibly sign up for SCS. So definitely a success for them, but looking at our league, we got some good matches. Like I had said, we got Black Mamba and StrikeX right now, but afterwards we're gonna have Dallas Vendetta and Team Boosted. Now, mind you guys, these matches are technically pre-recorded, so some people know what the actual outcome is, other people don't. However, we're going to be seeing it as casters in our POVs, so we don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully you guys will get entertained with us as well.
I think the best part is that they kind of just throw us into these things. We very easily could have watched it probably
Oh yeah.
pre-recorded off stream, but they kind of just Hyper and Frost kind of just toss us into the ring and we're like, okay, cool. So anything that happens in this game is as much of a surprise for you guys as it is for us. Which I do like I said, it definitely they could have handled it differently, and it could have been worse off for everyone because we would know what happens at what situation, and then it's pretty boring, I would assume, coming off with production wise. So good good job with how this was handled. But yeah, like you had said, first off the bat, StrikeX and Black Mambo. I'm not familiar with either of these teams. I'm not really sure who's on them, how they play out, that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting for me just because I really like getting to see how these other teams end up playing out and how they look stacked up against one another.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I don't really know all too much about these teams either. I think I casted Strike X once and they lost. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure actually what their rating is right now in the league, like how much they've won, how much they've lost, but I have nothing on Black Mambo either, so you're right, it's gonna be something new for both of us, at the very least. Yeah, I'm getting from production. Both of them lost at week 1, um, so it's kind of like how each different team operates in a sense. Yesterday we had the same situation where these two different teams that actually had won in the league previously were going up against each other, and it was like completely different skill registers going at it and completely different specialties with each type of play and really stylistically different. But let's look at the bands. Yeah, we'll be moving into that shortly, I think, if we want to look at that.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, yeah, like you said. So, map bans, as per usual, will be shown here. A lot of teams really like the standards, being if you can get Oregon, Clubhouse, Cafe, and for some teams, Villa as well. In that, you kind of just get used to it, and those are the standards you like. Um, so maybe we'll be seeing that. But off the board, first off already, rather, are the three maps that everyone apparently hates: Consulate, Coastline, and Theme Park, which makes for some very boring casting, might I add, because those are the only fun maps that I find anymore because we've
Oh,
seen the others so often. But I just, I really would like to see uh,
something new,
something
right?
new,
But you don't.
but nope,
Right? But
not
you don't.
today.
It's gonna be Cafe. Oh, what can I say about Cafe? I hate cafe. That's all I can say about it.
That's about all I got too. Like,
No, there's a lot about cafe to actually analyze, to look at. It's got 3 floors, so there's a lot of improvisation, I think, that goes along with it. There's a lot of, like, variations in the way that you can defend it, and definitely a lot of variations in the way that you can attack it, but the way that cafe just makes me so angry is because the meta is so set in right now, and there isn't all too much changing with it, so it's essentially the same push every single time. It's just tiny little differences with how it's actually executed and with how everything is brought to light. Oh, we're gonna start moving. Okay, all right, yeah, I got that from production.
Yeah, same thing. Something interesting I'd say is, I believe Cafe is the only map in this pool with directly 3 floors, meaning you can reach each floor from like a doorway or a window. There is technically 3 floors on Consulate and Clubhouse, as well as Oregon, but it's just very interesting the way that causes Cafe to. If StrikeX here, how rather StrikeX wants to play on this attack starting out. But other than that, they will not be having the Maverick, which again, pretty standard, really.
Yeah, pretty standard. I'm gonna guess that the next ban is actually going to be Thatcher. I can't really expect anything out of the ordinary with these two teams, being that they're most likely going to hold to their strats, and they're going to hold to very default, bans, holds, executes, all of that, because, they're not the most premier teams in this T3 league, and they technically did lose off. They did lose the first matches that they were both in. So, I mean, what can you expect out of any type of strategy when it comes to them? What can you expect out of mechanical play? Not the best, but definitely not the worst. I mean, they are in this league for a reason. You definitely have to say that. However, Habana realistically is the only one that kind of stands out in a way. I said it was going to be Thatcher, but it actually is 2 hard breachers instead of 1, and then 1 utility operator. Interesting, at the very least. I do like how they take out 2 hard breachers, but I don't at the same time, because now Thatcher's up on the board, which gives the attack a very big advantage when it comes to their hard breaching efforts. StrikeX, especially, being that they are on attack for the first 6 rounds, so they can definitely use that to their advantage, especially when it comes to top floor and bottom floor, kitchen specifically.
Yeah, Hibana has become a pretty common ban as of late. So it's since her change, it's been very interesting to see where she's fit in, and clearly the spot that more often than not she's fit in is that ban slot on the attacker side. So but at the same time, Ace affords so much on this map. There's a lot of walls that you really want to break open that you don't want to have to get close up on, just because a lot of defenders and defending teams have started to bust out sight lines next to those walls to allow them to destroy any utility that comes at it, be it Ace Charge, Habana Pellets.
Welcome to the next level.
This phone paired with 5G ultra wideband. Wow.
The new Samsung Galaxy S21 is here, and it's on Verizon 5G ultra wideband, the fastest 5G in the world. Available in parts of many cities.
It's not just a great network.
It's ridiculously fast.
Stream your favorite shows in Ultra HD.
I'm so excited about this. Streaming is crystal clear.
Select unlimited plans, get the Disney bundle included, and Discovery Plus on us.
Yes.
Buy Samsung Galaxy S21 plus 5G. Get one on us. Only on Verizon.
The new Lexus IS. All in on the sports sedan. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh, have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Thermite on top of it, or a Maverick on top of it. And that's the thing. Maverick is pretty fine on this map, but again, same thing with Thermite. You don't want to get close up on these walls to break them open. So it's very nice to see that, or rather, it's nice to see the ace coming out, as this is a strat. That's about all I got on that, because I have never seen this before. They have double reinforced with a rotate hole and a Goya shield and a castle inside of Emo, the spot under New Balcony, and the new drop, rather. And they have a rotate hole out of reading with a shield on top of that as well.
Hey, you know what? They're trying it, okay? You gotta give them props.
I mean, it's something different. I like it. It's just, it's crazy.
I feel as though it's bound not to work because of the fact that that double window is so easily able to counter that Goyo spot. Not only that, but you got players that are going to be sitting up above in Cocktail, and very easily are going to be able to play vertical on the dining, or on the pillars area, Emo, as you wanted to call it. So there's just a lot of ways that the attackers can counter it and that they can play through it. So I don't know if Black Mamba or Mamba is going to, you know, have a way to deal with that, realistically. We're just gonna have to see throughout the round, though, right? But got Ash is gonna be entering into Cocktail, while Ella, she does indeed move downward. She's gonna rotate down that hatch and leave open the area for Ash to capitalize, right? Because, you know, reading is a huge spot for the attack to want to play vertical, and getting out those verticality angles are going to be absolutely huge for taking over this objective. You got Nash, though. He's going to be going down to Awaken as the attack begins to elevate and look through the floor. Attempting to get into reading, you know. They're trying to penetrate the walls of the objective and move in as fast as they can for an informed execution.
Yeah, this last minute to go as Noodle finds Romaine, and a second on the flank for Impulse. It's kind of speeding up at this point for StrikeX. It's just up to Freezy and Travel for Black Mamba. As now Noodle is actually starting to get a plant down that I'm not sure where. I think it's in default there, as now Freezy has to try and come in to find what he can. He's already down to 25 HP. Travel is doing just that, trying to find his way onto a flank somewhere. As I can't hear out of my right ear, it's ringing me to death at this point. It is frustrating for some reason. I don't know why that happened. Oh, look, the sound has completely gone out of my right ear. Well, it's just up to Freezy on 25 HP as Travel is found by Korn. Everyone trying to get in a piece of it, as Seafoles is the last without a kill, but it will be Awakened to confirm the flawless round to start off the map. And I know you were talking a little bit about how the two teams that 1-0 yesterday were kind of at ends with each other in a way, that they were on opposite sides of the spectrum. And granted, it is one round, but to start attack on Cafe on a Reading Fireplace, which is probably one of the two sites, not probably, but it is one of the two sites that requires the most attacking effort, in that you have to take upstairs and breach above and then go to site. To do that flawlessly is kind of a scary sight, I'd think, for Black Mambo.
It is. It definitely is. However, we're going to be moving on to round 2. Now they're going to be going bar, cocktail lounge, a little bit more of a primary site. And something that I hope we'll be able to hold a little bit better at the very least. So far, we've had a lot of situations where these teams, you know, they have been able to... Oh my gosh, my audio just went out. Hello?
You're still here.
Sorry. I'm still here? Hello? You guys can hear me? I'm so sorry. But, well, anyways, I think the biggest issue for the attack through not necessarily a bottom top clear, but definitely a top down clear, because if you look at it, right, it's going to be hard for any form of map control. It's going to be a big fight, because while the top floor is extremely horizontal, Black Mamba seems to be holding it as best as they possibly can. So I'm going to assume there's going to at least be some type of entry denial sat in or around piano. So I feel like a lot of the horizontal play is going to be hard fought, at the very least, for StrikeX. I'm not quite sure about the bottom up push and the roam clear, but that might be very quintessential if StrikeX aren't going to have a lot of success going in on piano.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
Hello?
So, yeah. Interestingly, on this third floor,
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
there's an Oryx being played by Freezy, which, that's, I mean, interesting is probably the only way I can think of putting that one, because it's not really like there's a lot of rotation play through hatches that can be afforded on this site, without giving away key areas. Like, sure, you can get a flank up through Cigar here or in through Piano, but by then you've already given up those key positions. So I'm not really sure what you're trying to do at that point, because then you also might just be a lost cause as you loudly clamber up and are very, very, very prone to death, really. But in the meantime of that speculation, it is not the Oryx that is down below. It is Curtsy here on the Valkyrie, looking around for a C4, trying to play off of any info his teammates can give alongside the, what is it? The footstep sounds. But currently, nothing has come out, despite plenty of players standing on top of him. And with 45 seconds to go, that C4 is becoming all that more useful as time goes on. Oh!
Oh boy. That impulse going down to very fast hands, all the way from Cocktail, but a refrag at that comes for Travel. As you see that Nimble, he's already going to be getting into the objective, attempting that ninja defuse. Absolutely huge. That's going to force us into a post-plant situation where the defenders are indeed going to have to get super aggressive. However, the diffuser has indeed not been planted quite yet, as you got some engagements going down on the board. Only a 2v2 left. Oh no, Curtsy is indeed going to get the shot off for 2 players. One in Bar, who was planting, and the other one from Skylight. Absolutely huge for his team, and there you go. That secures the second round for the defenders. A Black Mamba? 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 Shoot.
Black Mamba like Kobe.
I spelled that wrong on Twitter. It's fine. It's fine.
Well, with that being said, that was some nice shots too by Curtsy there, to hit Seafolds up on the roof. Pretty rough on the coverage as well, but regardless of that, we'll be headed down to kitchen service off of the successful attack there, or the successful defense rather. It was interesting that defense looked in favor of Black Mamba the further on it went, and then obviously StrikeX exploded out, and then they just forgot how to play the game, I guess, and let Curtsy and I believe Nash maybe just soloed out the remaining 3. So regardless of that, it'll be interesting to see how StrikeX want to handle this site. There's a lot to breach on this site, and having only Ace is going to hamper that just a bit, as well as this setup is leaning towards being kind of a bakery defense. Well, not even kind of, it is a bakery defense. There just happens to be no shield, very few ADSs. All in all, just not the most stall to keep Romaine alive behind this back bakery stand thing. Not sure, register? I don't know what it is. It's like a case.
Display case.
Sure,
that's what it is.
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. It is now.
right. TurboTax Free Edition is free. Free, 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 free.
Are you looking for a new way to make up to $700 this month? And help save lives? Donate plasma and make up to $700 this month at CSL Plasma.
All you got to do is dish a drink, and your taste buds.
Sounds like happiness. So many feels. All the feels.
You do the shimmy when it meets expectations, and the head nod is I'm perfectly satisfied.
Sonic Ultimate Drink Stop.
Out of the bakery to play case. I don't even know the call for it.
I don't
either. What? All right.
I mean, technically it would be the breach because it just gets breached.
Yeah. Well,
if you think about it, I don't know.
2 drones
Point
down.
Being that you got the attack already moving in and fastly getting countered by Romaine, the man sitting in bakery. Unfortunate as it is, Nitros will be pulled and Romaine indeed will go down. That's already 3v4 for you, as the attack indeed has successfully infiltrated bakery, and now that they're in it, it's gonna put the defenders on their toes. They're gonna have to be moving around and at least trying out something to prevent the time and give at least StrikeX a bit more of a time restraint than they already have, because right now it looks like StrikeX is going to be full steam ahead. You definitely don't want that, especially on Kitchen. That is such a horizontal site. You can turn it into vertical site, but so far it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. He's got Curtsy, he's already holding up above, and he collects one on Noodle. So it puts us down to a 3v3 situation, and it stops out a little bit of the aggression coming from the bakery side, although bakery indeed has been opened up already. So not too concerned about Noodle's life at this moment, as he's already used out his life's purpose. But you got Corn, he's going to be moving down the main hallway, attempting to kind of find and seed out Nash. It's going to be our first line of defense sitting into Kitchen. Question is, who's gonna win, the UMP or the main gun, the L8? But you got Travel, he'll be taken out with the SMG-11, but swiftly refragged. Unfortunate as it is, that puts us to a 2v1 and it allows the defenders to win out round 3, all the way from the vertical play.
Yeah, that vertical play, pretty common on that spot to hold down. Prep. There we go, as I'm struggling to remember names all of a sudden. But with that, I think it was pretty funny just to see Awakened go to Ash charge the Malusi that was there.
And
didn't get the Malusi.
Didn't work.
And got both Corn and Noodle's last drones. So that was funny to see. Very helpful Ash charge on that one. But like I was gonna say, you mentioned that you could go vertical, but I just didn't think we were gonna see that from StrikeX, because they didn't bring the sledge, which you commonly see on those vertical attacks, and it's very interesting that they're now opting into the sledge rather than last round as well, and trying to prioritize that, because even if you break front bakery and you find out through Noodle's death that there is a vigil, there's still like a lot of time. There was still like a minute 30, a minute 45 left on the clock. So they still had a lot of time to go upstairs and try and work Curtsy out of there, but they just didn't have the priority to at any point, or the utility to breach above thereafter. So maybe we'll see that change up if we do get to see Kitchen service once again. But now on to our second time here on Reading Fireplace. It's more of a standard setup. It's not that wacky Goyo castle setup that we saw. And Noodle will not get to see any more this round, as Curtsy from the front bakery will be able to take the head off of the ace, and that is a massive loss here for StrikeX, as now Freezy chimes in with one onto Awakened. Not even sure where that one was.
Well, I guess the the good bit about this is the fact that the sledge is still up, right? That still gives you vertical control available to you, and we know vertical control is absolutely huge when it comes to reading dining room because the top bit of reading is so open and none of it basically is hard floor. So the entire ceiling can basically be the attackers in a post-plant situation that would maybe lead to their win. That's basically the redemption or redeeming bit about this entire attacking round. And you also still have up the Nomad, which is absolutely huge for any post-plant situation as well, the Thatcher, which will help when it comes to those Legion mines, although it doesn't necessarily do that, but we got the Legion himself. He's going to be getting 2 kills, not 1, but 3, as a matter of fact. That's a flawless round for the defenders as Black Mamba secures yet another round, 3 in a row against StrikeX.
Yeah, it does seem that, well, maybe you can just chalk up that first round to the different strat that Black Mamba opted to run. It's very interesting to see how they've really rebounded since that off round. So we'll be headed back to Bar Cocktail here between these two teams, as Travel will be forced into a 6-pick off of the Alibi. Going to a Valkyrie this time. We're going to see Cade come out. Nope, just kidding, it's Smoke. We're going to be seeing Cade come out for the first time as well. No Oryx again. Yeah, no Valkyrie again. There's a lot of flexibility on the side of Black Mamba here in this matchup so far. And I think that might play into how StrikeX is having a bit of an issue trying to find something to grasp in these couple of rounds, because everything after that first round has been something completely different. There was a lot of aggression on that first kitchen service site, and even though it didn't end up working out for Black Mamba in the aggressive part itself, that very drastically contrasted the very passive play that Black Mamba showed on the first time on Bar Cocktail. So it's very interesting to see how it's all playing out, including last round with spawn peaks everywhere. I think I saw between the 2 kills and we were spectating Freezy or whoever it was on the Legion as well. There was 3 different spawn peaks coming out last round. So it's very nice to see Black Mamba just trying to keep StrikeX on their toes here. And already, they've got someone standing on the main bar. I think that's Travel, just waiting for what he can find.
Yeah, I think kind of to add on to your point really quickly here, as a C4 kill does come out from Curtsy from below, I think that Black Mamba, and this is a perfect example, they do what they're able to get away with. I mean, look at Awaken, he just got killed by a C4 from below, something that StrikeX didn't even have the foresight to see. There was nothing behind that, and I think StrikeX are just miles behind what Black Mamba can do and can see, can predict, and can strategize. Mamba, I keep on saying it. Oh my god. I'm never gonna get it right. I'm never gonna get it right. I'm actually never gonna get it right. I hate myself. But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. But getting on to the actual round, it's a 4-2-4. As I say this, double kill for Impulse. It's gonna be a 3-on-4. Black Mamba, unfortunately, being down 1 player and damage another, that of Nash. But you got Freezy, he's going to be coming back to get us a 3v3 for 2 kills, not 1. Once again, he's just coming through with those feeds. Oh my lord. But Travel adding on to this once more. You got a headshot coming from him with the heavy hands, or the fast hands, I should say, of the SMG-11. And 3-on-1 corner. He's going to be backed into a corner. They all know that he's sitting in piano, but I do like how they're kind of waiting for him. They're not getting extremely aggressive. You know, maybe minus Travel a little bit there, but they're at least allowing him to attack and he's going to have to be forced to do so.
Yeah, 30 seconds to go and nowhere really to breach with these breaching charges. Like you said, a lot of the times we'll see teams... Oh, that almost could have ended badly as Freezy takes the head for his third. We see a lot of teams getting... I wouldn't say cocky with it, but they do just get aggressive. They want to end the round as quickly as possible. They don't want to give... It's for whatever reasons. They want to get the kill. They just want to end the round as fast as possible. They don't want to give the opponents any attempt at like a timeout or something. And we didn't really see that from Black Mamba. They were fine with just letting it sit back and letting Corrin push into them eventually, which is good because a lot of players can handle that L85 really easily. And as a result, that very well could have ended up as the
The new Lexus IS. All in on the sports sedan. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Introducing new Extra Charge coffee at Dunkin', because it's time for a little extra this year. Extra boost, extra kick, so we can get it extra done. New hot and iced Extra Charge coffee with 20% more caffeine. Order ahead plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'.
As a bad point for
Defenders, protect your bomb.
Black Mamba if they pushed into that that rifle, but we won't see it on this attack again. Instead, there's a Capital on the board. No Sledge, no Thatcher. There is no wall denial outside of maybe, I guess you could say, the Mute. But instead, we see a Mozzie on the board for the first time in the hands of Travel, which Mute Mozzie has been trying to make a resurgence, and I don't really know how I feel about that. But from what I've seen, a lot of attacking teams don't really mind it too much.
The Mozzie play. You don't think attacking teams mind it?
I think they mind it. I just think it's like... Alright, an easier way to put it. If you had to take Mute Mozzie or Jaeger Wamaistal, a lot of attacking teams would prefer Mute Mozzie. From what I can tell.
Well, I think that Jaeger Wamai, they're kind of like different in the way that they work. I mean, they target entirely different utility, if you want to think about it. I think that throwables are really on Wamai's list, whereas Intel is more on Mozzie's list. And when it comes down to it, I mean, Intel is the name of the game, but looking at the name of the game, oh no. I was speaking and already a flurry of kills are going to be going down on the board. You got StrikeX's team entirely dissolved except for the remaining player of C-Fulls. He's the Nomad going up on the top of the roof, and I'm not gonna lie here, he doesn't have a very good outlook on the rest of the round. Looks like a tactical timeout might be coming into play for their team. They're gonna have to reevaluate exactly what they want to do, especially having to move on to their defense rounds, which is gonna be coming up next in a 5-1 upset at the moment. So momentum has indeed been working out for Black Mamba, but StrikeX, I mean, they're down, and they're down bad.
Yeah, that round being essentially over within a minute, StrikeX barely could get into the building.
Says something.
Yeah. It's not really a good look. And it's insane to think that, considering that StrikeX so deftly won that first round with the flawless round, both how well Black Mamba has recovered from that and just in general their play thereafter, they've secured essentially 2 flawless rounds for themselves. It's been very good for Black Mamba here, as I'm very happy that Frost got to watch C-Fulls doing his tightrope act here on the roof. But like you said, going on into their defending half, obviously they're sitting here and talking to themselves, and they're thinking, we can just replicate what Black Mamba just did. We can make the same thing happen, that sort of thing. And they're really hyping themselves up that way.
10 seconds left.
But it still is a bit of a mental block in that they're now down 5-1. Any slip up means they have to win out to OT, assuming that Black Mamba would win another round on said slip up. So StrikeX is really struggling at this point, I would say, to keep fully in it, but they're really going to have to work hard at it if they want to make it work. And we're going to mining and dining first as a result.
Mining and dining. What can I say? Well, that technically is the only site that StrikeX has won. So that gives them something to look at, right? I think they're gonna have to pull out something very different.
No, they won Reading Fireplace.
Oh, they won Reading Fireplace?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's around the same area, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But mining and dining is actually a really weird site. I was just gonna say it anyways. Mining and dining, I think it's a weird site. I don't like when it's played. I prefer reading and dining. And I know that sounds so weird because reading and dining altogether, it seems like a harder site to actually control for the defenders. But I feel like reading and dining is the lesser of the two evils, right? Because as open as it is, I still think that it offers a lot of, well, I guess opportunities, you could say, for the defenders. I think it offers a lot of ability to actually hold it better. Like, I have not seen a lot of very good mining and dining strategies from teams, especially in T3. I've not seen a lot of successful ones. I've seen a lot of successful reading and dining strategies because it relies on holding only cocktail, whereas mining and dining relies on holding the entirety of cigar.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
And I mean, if you just even compare the map setup, above mining dining is piano and cigar. Like you said, piano is a massive just no man's land outside of Pixel. Above reading and fireplace, like you said, is cocktail. So there's a lot of just stylistic differences, and it's very interesting that StrikeX would go here, but they're starting to make it work as Awakened is going to find the first frag here, his first opener, or first successful opener for himself since round 1. He was peeking through some bullet holes, as this is a very extended defense, and Awakened is going to find one again, as well as Impulse finding a one for himself. So 3 frags in about 20 seconds for StrikeX. They're making this round work very well with this very interesting extended hold that it seems like Black Mamba has yet to even consider getting their way into, considering Romaine is half HP and on the roof, and Freezy is not really sure where he's going at this point.
I think that it's interesting that StrikeX has been able to win this round without the presence of C4s whatsoever. I think Black Mamba is entirely confused by what StrikeX is doing right now. They got caught off guard way too quickly in the round and lost too much collateral for it. Not only that, but I think that StrikeX has been able to hold top floor very consistently for a good bit of the round, right? We're sub 1 minute, and Black Mamba still has yet to control any floors other than the top. And that's only regarding 1 kill for them being Impulse. So, kind of looking at that, though, and it's still going to be a fight, actually. For Awaken, he's going to pick up 1. Will he pick up the next? Most likely. No, he actually won't. Freezy's going to be picking up that one instead. And there you have it. Awaken will go down. But that's not to say that Freezy, he's going to have extremely low health now. So with Smoke being on the roster for StrikeX, it's going to be a very hard sell for Freezy to even get down the stairs in order to hit the objective and get the kills that he needs. Therefore, he isn't going to win it, and you have StrikeX winning out round 7 on their first defense. So I think it was a pretty nice transition overall, don't you think, Cherish?
Yeah, it is kind of weird that it became basically, or that it had to rather be Awakened versus the World. Granted, he did make it work and almost got 4 kills, leaving Freezy just on literally 1 HP. So it is a good transition to nearly, or not nearly flawless, but it was just such a solid start for StrikeX on that round. We'll see them transition over to Bar Cocktail as well. So Remains pulling out an IQ. Not really an operator we see much at all anymore, but it will be specifically to prioritize against Noodle on the Cade here, who is also running the TCSG. Similarly, since the 1.5 was added to the AUG A3 in this past season, or maybe 2 seasons ago or whatever it was, a lot of players have been opting into the AUG over the TCSG alongside TCSG nerfs. So it is interesting to see Noodle running that. Definitely going to be looking to click heads as best.
This phone paired with 5G ultra wideband, wow.
The new Samsung Galaxy S21 is on Verizon 5G ultra wideband, available in parts of many cities.
It's ridiculously fast.
Buy Samsung Galaxy S21 plus 5G, get one on us, only on Verizon.
He can with that, as back on the IQ thing, it's interesting to see her when Thatcher is up, especially just because Thatcher opts for the same niche. I guess it's just for the Valkyrie, actually. But they'll be trying to work out the Cades as well. It's just, a lot of pros have been commenting that she needs her frag grenades back to maintain the same point of purpose that she once held, just because Thatcher still does her job better than her. In the meantime, Impulse, again, another run out, I think, from who knows where, as he will net the Jackal, and that is once more 2 rounds in a row that we've seen Jackal, and we haven't actually talked about it, because the Jackal has died pretty early, twice in a row.
Yeah, Jackal hasn't really had too much of a chance to spawn in and use out his purpose, which, ironically, is to seed out those defenders who were roaming, which Impulse most definitely countered that pretty well. He had that belt cam most definitely being used to her advantage, and thus the kill for her. Now, methodically is going to be the move for Black Mamba at this point. Nothing really too big to come of the first minute and 30 seconds other than the kill on Awaken and Travel, respectively. But so far, I mean, they're playing it really slow, and I like that they're playing it slow, but at the same time, I think it allows StrikeX to capitalize on that stagnation, which we had seen once before, at the very least, on round 2 in Bar Cocktail. The piano control is relatively early, but at the same time, I mean, you still have Valkyrie holding below with the C4, mind you, and with other players with the C4 as well. It could still be used to the defense's advantage if they were to play on that. So, if Black Mamba gets even slower with this, they're going to have to play very mechanically if they want to do a very good execute, or at least a very informed one at that. But you got Hertzy being killed, unfortunately, while the Maestro cam does get destroyed. But Romain will be getting 2 kills for himself as he very aggressively takes control of Freezer. However, the TCSG, it does respawn. Valkyrie will get fragged, but you got a 2v0 the attackers indeed capitalize, collect, and wonderfully take the round for themselves, putting us to match point 6-2.
Yep, match point Indeed, as it'll be back or all the way downstairs on this site. That is also the first round we have seen that the team that gets the opening kill does not win out the round. I believe I don't remember who it was. Might have been Impulse onto Travel. I think that was it. Yeah, I think it was Impulse onto Travel. Ended up being the first frag. All I know is that Travel was the first one down. But yeah, we all in all, I mean, the IQ didn't really accomplish much. It was just a lot of fragging power from Romaine there with that triple kill. So IQ as an operator didn't accomplish much, is what I more so meant than Romaine so much not accomplishing much, because he single-handedly kind of busted open the round. He got 2 kills and really evened things out for Black Mamba. Even though he did get traded out by Noodles Cade, it still was worthwhile. Though the wall didn't get opened up, it still ends up being a round win for Black Mamba, which is in a way a little scary to think about, but regardless, it is a win is a win. So with that being said, we're moving on down to kitchen service, as I put before, and we see a couple interesting picks. Frost is out on the board. She's seen a lot more play as of late, as well as Seafoles is on a Bandit, who has seen a lot less play as of late, and also Courtesy on a Blackbeard, who has seen basically no play. So Frost has come back into meta just because she's got a 1.5 on her gun. It's very easy to control. She has a shield, and she recently got the ITA-12S shotgun, the sidearm shotgun. So it is just pretty interesting how she's kind of fit into a lot more interesting strats. Whereas Bandit has really fallen away in that same manner, and we just don't see him as much anymore outside of the rare clubhouse or cafe appearance.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, with Kaid being in play, there is essentially no need for Bandit other than wanting to Bandit trick on specific walls, or, you know, wanting to maintain and be sure that you're going to get a specific level of security when holding those walls. I think with Kaid being in play as well, there is, you know, a certain level of undetectability, especially with Thatcher being out, that IQ is technically needed for, but like you had said, IQ isn't really in play all too often because of the fact that her frag grenades are out. Not only that, but because she just doesn't see a lot of utility or use in this current meta. So what are you to do about Kaid? Not too much. You kind of have to use Maverick, or find a way around, like in Oregon, for example, how you can go underneath T3 and try to get out the Kaid from there, but other than that, there isn't too much to do about what he can do for those certain hard-breachable walls. Although, you got Travel, he's gonna pick up one, not one, but 2! Freezy's gonna add on to this kill feed here, allowing for Noodle not to be the only one left alive, as Nash is going to clean house and finish off our game for a 7-2 scoreline.
Yep, very chaotic at the end there. It was very just all of a sudden it just burst out. We saw the 2 kills from Zofia from Travel there, as well as a third from, I believe, Nash. Rather, it was Nash who started it off. Good news. Seafoles, excuse me. Good news. Seafoles picked up one in the end. As I need to sit back, man. I am like face into the camera. Seafoles picked up one at least for himself there at the end. Didn't end on a donut, so that feels good, I guess. But yeah, it is all in all just steamrolling off of a very strong defensive half. Black Mamba just rolled their way to victory without any hesitation. And it was going to be an uphill climb from that first half alone. And it's sad to see that StrikeX wasn't able to do it, because the Mining Dining's hold was very interesting. And I was expecting them to be able to make something happen.
It was a very calm game. Definitely. There wasn't all too much of a contest there for StrikeX. They were only able to capture 2 rounds. That being, I believe, 1 round in their defense and 1 round in their attack. Other than that, it was Black Mamba to be able to adapt to their strategy, whereas StrikeX, they really couldn't seem to catch up with it, or even keep up with it, for that matter. I just kind of gotta say, closing comments on the game, that when you put these, losing teams together, like I'd said previously, it's going to test their skill registers. And Black Mamba, I mean, they had more effective, useful skill register than StrikeX did. And it showed. Really did.
Yeah. I mean, we said it, you said it earlier, and we'll be saying it again, obviously. You put these, actually, that would just be copying you. You put these low teams to get together, and you really start to find out where the standings shape up. And I think we'll be looking to see Black Mamba later on in this season. But with that being said, we're going to take a small break before we head into our second matchup between Dallas Vendettas and Team Boosted. So please stick around with us through this break while we get that one prepped and ready for you guys. right, welcome back, everyone. We do apologize for the long wait. We had a bit of an issue between our VOD and getting it all downloaded and stuff. That big storm that has come through most of the country and most of the continent really messed some stuff up. So, aside from that, we do have now Dallas Vendetta versus Team Boosted ready to go. Team Boosted is currently sitting at 1-0. Dallas Vendetta at 0-1. So it'll be interesting to see how this one shapes up. But away from that, if you were not here for our last matchup between StrikeX and Black Mamba, first and foremost, I am Cherish, and joined with me is Jenna or Giraffe Rose. So how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. So like you said, Team Boosted is 1-0 and Dallas Vendetta is 0-1. So we don't necessarily know though how statistics are really going to be playing into this, because I think somebody had said this yesterday. I'm not sure if it was me or my but the fact still remains that this is super early in our season and we don't necessarily know or have a lot of info on how these teams are going to be playing against each other, which is why we normally see a new matchup every week, or at least every time we're casting, right? So Dallas Vendetta, Team Boosted, I'm ready to go in it, and I'm ready to see the map bans for them. Are you?
So maybe we'll get them, but regardless, again, I'm not really familiar with Team Boosted. More so, I am familiar with Dallas Vendetta. I've seen a couple of these players in collegiate, as well as just seeing them in T3 before. So I'm sure Team Boosted will have some names on it that I just happen to recognize. I just don't recognize the team's name. But as we said, we're getting into map bans, and oh boy, it is the expected 4. At least we're not on Borrigan, so that is pretty good.
Let's hope we're not on Cafe again, because that would literally
God.
kill me, and no, we're not. We're actually going to be going on Villa. I like Villa. I think Villa brings a lot of stylistic play features out into the open, and specifically for Team Boosted here, which they seem they're going to be going on attack. So Team Boosted, I guess, for their first 6 rounds are truly going to be put to the test, because I think Villa realistically is going to be a bit more of an attacker-sided map, although usually when you do play Villa, I think it has a lot to do with, it's super one-sided, either one way or the other. It's like either super defense-sided or super attack-sided. There's usually no in-between, and I feel like it goes the same for both ways. I feel like, one team is going to be super attack-sided, and then the other team ends up being super attack-sided. It's just a weird trend that I've been noticing in Villa quite often. But, getting on to our operator bans, we're going to have Abana being the first operator ban out. Nothing too super uncommon here. I think Abana is actually pretty good to be out, especially because, with her new rework, her X-Kairos being able to go in a 2x2 formation is pretty powerful, especially when it comes to AVG and Master Bedroom specifically. You got Thatcher being out for the second operator. Once again, not too all uncommon. He is a very universal ban, and I would be honestly surprised if, especially on Villa, out of all maps, a pretty hard breach heavy map, anything else would be chosen in his place. But you got Mira being the third operator out. I think Mira and Thatcher really go hand in hand with the way that they are such universal bans. There isn't really anything too crazy about, their guns, but I think their utility is the one thing you want to look out for, because it is so, absolutely amazing in almost every situation you put it in. Like I said, it's super universal. Now, you got Kaid. He's going to be our last operator off the board. And I think Kaid's a pretty good pick for the last operator to be off the board, because of the fact that, like I said, hard breaching is such a huge theme in Villa. And, what the biggest operator so far coming up in the meta for hard breach denial has definitely been Kaid. So now, teams are going to have to resort a lot to Mute, a lot to Bandit for those wall denial operators. And like you see right here, Fawn, he's going to be going Mute himself. So I'm going to guess that the defenders really expected, or, well, being that they banned the second operator out, that they did expect to not have to deal with Kaid. So they're kind of making a strategy around, their team dynamic, which in theory has been Mute. We're gonna be seeing the VOD. Oh, we got, well, okay, we're good. So yeah, we'll be going to AVG for our first site. I think AVG is a pretty good primary site out of anything. Trophy Statuary is normally your secondary, and Kitchen is normally your tertiary site. AVG, there's a lot about it to kind of analyze. I think the way that it has more of a square formation is really the biggest point to note, because it can't come under contest, and it most likely will come under contest for the attack specifically, because highway and lowway, they are pretty big points, and normally teams do go on a roam clear situation at the very least, trying to take away control of Astro, trying to take away control of the north side, aka master bedroom, and transition their push onto 90. But I guess the most important part about that is the fact that if you do control square in its entirety, you can very easily trap in and simply pincer out the defenders, keep them extremely uncomfortable, and have a very good round win, a good execute if you're able to bow a constrictor correctly and make a good plant situation for the rest of the round.
Yep, I'm back, so you finally get a moment to breathe. So,
all right.
I appreciate at least taking over that whole time. Crispy doesn't have a nitro, and it's been set off as well. Normally it would be blinking if it was preset, but it's not. So it's kind of just gone, and I don't remember where it went off. Oh, no, I guess it was preset, and we just don't see the blink on our side. GoAny is going to lose half of his HP on the dot on the Ash, but interestingly, standing just that little bit further away from the Nitro is not going to result in the Ash's death. So, like you were saying, this full bedroom side push is coming in, as now Jaiko and PK are in fact going to spring to life. PK with the first opener there, as he's going to net that one for himself on the Ash, or rather onto the Ash on the Valkyrie. He's taken a big beating in the meantime, down below 50% HP, but the minute and 15 seconds to go, rather, it will be Jaiko on the move, as Dallas Vendetta is in a very good spot here to keep themselves going, all things considered.
You might be very correct. However, Taco is going to be getting the kill with the amazing AK-12 onto PK all the way through the classical hallway window into the vault. And I believe one of the attackers were actually trying to infiltrate the objective, if I am correct, but nothing too big to come of it. But you do have attackers on both sides of Study at the moment, or sorry, both sides of Aviator at the moment, one in Study and one near the landing bit. So if they are able to pincer the player in either Vault or Aviator, they might have a very easy execute on their hands. However, it will have to come down to that, so they will actually have to make a move, get aggressive, as attackers will do. But you do got Jaiko. He will pick up one, but two for a triple kill for himself. Already a 1v4 as Kashi does get pincered in AV, out of all places. So I was talking about pincer moves and stuff for the attackers to do, but the defenders just did it so well. That was a wonderful round, I think. I think it was a pretty good round. I think the defenders, they got a lot of kills off the bat that were pretty impactful, and that played against the disadvantages and really exploited the way that team boosted works, in essence, right? I mean, you took out a lot of utility operators, you took out, I believe, the Ace around then, after you got a kill with the AK-12. You took out just relatively the operators that are going to get you the kills, right? And for the backbone of killing and fragging for a team to be taken out, it's a lot, because then you're left with players who don't have as much frag potential, although they can have a good impact down the round when it comes to their utility. It leaves out such a quintessential part, relatively the crux of what you want to do in a round, and frankly, they didn't really do all too much fragging in the round as is, so it put them at a really huge disadvantage and allowed Dallas Vendetta to get such a huge advantage and put them in that spot where they want to be. They were able to play passively and honestly collect towards the end and make a round for themselves.
Yep. All in all, it's a pretty good round for Dallas Vendetta, as obviously it does lead to them being up 1-0. Now we're headed over to Trophy Stat. And with that being said, Crispy is going to become under some pressure. He's over on the roam very aggressively in Aviator Games. As now PK is going to be the one to come into contest with the Ash of Goenni. PK not getting the better of, well, really neither of them getting the better of each other. There's no damage dealt back and forth as PK is struggling to hit his shots onto this drone. He actually gets it through the couch at this point. But that being said, there's still a lot of pressure coming onto these Vendetta roamers. Crispy is rotated back closer to site, and PK is essentially trapped. Managed to rotate to red stairs somehow and escape death while still delivering a little bit of damage to Navi over on the Zofia. So, with all things considered, this is a good win on the roam play from Dallas Vendetta, albeit a little bit short-lived. So there's still a lot of time for Boosted to get to work on this roam, or on this actual site. And good news for them, because they still have to contend with like 3 shields and a bunch of just awkward setup from Dallas Vendetta.
Right, it's all about the utility burn at this point from Dallas Vendetta, and all about the passive play from them specifically as well, which is going to, like you said, kind of deliver their refrags and have a communication at an all-time high, which is something that you want from them specifically. But Team Boosted, they are going to be making their way, ascending through the hallways of 90 and Classical, attempting to make their way into landing and eventually Statuary to go against the first line of defense, which is going to be PK, the man sitting with the ump, aka Castle. While you got Fawn, he will be sitting in the closet, not really having to deal with anybody at the moment, which is good, because Team Boosted would have a very hard sell going against somebody with that caliber of a shotgun. But you got Goenni. He's going to be putting down that diffuser and putting us, or thrusting us rather, into a post-plant scenario, already on a 3v5 for them. But you already got the verticality for play underneath by Ash, the Goenni of the diffuser. But Goenni, he will be taken down, and there you have it. Already a retake from the defenders to win them the second round of regulation.
A very weird round, all things considered.
I agree.
Boosted didn't force Vendetta out of any positions. And then outside of the roam, they didn't really force them out of many positions. And then were able to get the plant down, essentially 5v5, towards the last, I believe, the last 2 seconds of the plant. Someone went down, maybe Taco, or might have been Fever. But someone went down at the tail end of that plant. So essentially, all things considered, it was more or less a 5v5 plant, which you never see, really. You shouldn't ever see, because that means someone on the defense is not doing their job. So, all in all, it did just vehemently go in favor of Dallas Vendetta thereafter. The only 2 kills that went the way of Boosted were for Navi on the Zofia at the tail end, really just mopping up what he could, because the rest of Dallas Vendetta just swarmed through and won their 1v1 gunfights. So a point that I think Boosted should be focusing on in these next rounds is really trying to gain positional advantages, or rather, not so much gain the positional advantages, but really work these positional advantages. And when I say that, they got a lot of control last round, taking over AVG very quickly, and then with about a minute and a half left in the round, didn't really do anything with it. They kind of just sat over on landing. The first round, they were able to take the bedroom side very quickly, and then lost a couple of gunfights to opponents out in the open off of pre-fires. Fever also has now taken a nitro to the face from Fond or Bait, who knows. Both of them are missing a nitro at this point, but he has lost most of his HP. But as I was finishing up, Boosted just really needs to go to work at this point and really work themselves off of these picks, as we'll see the first one for Boosted go the way of Goenni.
I think you're totally right in your assumption that Boosted does need to work the angles that they're given. And specifically in this round, they need to work that verticality, right? Because verticality is so insanely important when it comes to post-plant situations. And we know that Team Boosted knows how to plant, and they know how to get into the objective. I just think they don't necessarily know how to set up correct crossfires, and their positioning was genuinely subpar, at least as of last round. So if Dallas Vendetta were to try to retake this round, let's hope it's going to be a much harder round for them to sell, or at least to pitch, because of the fact that Team Boosted will have those crossfire angles set up. Now, Crispy's going to be getting a double kill for himself. Unfortunately, the flank was not deterred by the attackers, as Goenni and Yellow unfortunately go down to his resistance. So they got two big players down, especially the Sledge, the player that is chief in executing out the verticality plays, but I don't think that's necessarily too much of a disadvantage, being that Sledge did most of his job already. It's really just up to the rest of the team of Team Boosted to execute, get the plant down, and work out those angles. Tack, he will be finding one already inside the objective as he's infiltrated inside a pantry. He's going to have to move into B, though, if he wants to make anything happen and work on that execute. And with about 35 seconds left, he's going to have to do it fast. That's a hasty execute and a very aggressive one that needs to happen. But you got Navi. He'll be going down, unfortunately, to the fast hands of Fond. 2v3 scenario as the attackers have made it inside the objective.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh, have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Welcome to the next level.
This phone paired with 5G ultra wideband, wow.
The new Samsung Galaxy S21 is here, and it's on Verizon 5G ultra wideband.